Hello everybody, this is jaydenshaunts, and today we have to unbox and set up is the new for 2024 Lowe's Haunted Living 12-foot animated bone collector by Tekky. This has been my holy grail for the 2024 season. I was finally able to get it thanks to our friends at Lowe's Home Improvement in Aransas Pass, Texas. They know us as the Halloween people, and when we walk in that store in the off season, they're always asking us if we know what's coming out for the year or when we're going to start preparing, and they made sure we got the bone collector. He is my most anticipated for the season and is without a doubt probably one of my favorites for the year, if not my absolute favorite for the 2024 season. And honestly, he's one of my all-time favorite animatronics now. So we're going to cut the tape at the top of the box here, see how he is packed in here. The box does weigh roughly about 90 pounds and it is fairly large. It is not as big as the 12-foot skeletons, so there is not a huge deal for that. You won't need a big truck for that. Right on top, we have this packaging insert that has stuff for store use. Every animatronic that is by Tekky that is sold in store is going to have these. This is just something Tekky does. The zip ties to hold it down on a display. There is the tool to help you take them apart at the end of the season. And there are his ropes, hooks to help stabilize him, anchor him down. And then in there is his instruction booklet. Hopefully you can see this. I'm gonna kind of tilt it up just a little bit so you can kind of see what's going on in here. So right off the bat, there are some ground stakes right there. This, I presume, is an arm. There's an arm. The connections are bubble wrap so that they don't get damaged. He has an elbow on there, which I do really like Tekky is doing. Helps give these props a little bit more form. I'd like to see every retailer or company doing that now. Same thing, there's his other arm. Set that down over here. Here is his bag with the skeleton and his hand attached. The hand is all bubble wrapped to ensure it doesn't get all scratched up in the packaging. The skeleton is all, again, wrapped in plastic so it doesn't get damaged. It looks like the hand actually did pop out of mine. It is not broken, it just needs to be popped back in there. The other one is still in there, not a big deal. We can pop that back in there. It's hand attached, we will unwrap that soon. Here are shoulders, clothes, and another hand. That's actually, how on earth did they get that in there? Okay, I guess that's how. So there is a hand stuffed up inside the shoulders. There's the shoulder frame, kind of similar to the 12-foot scarecrow Tekky did have at Lowe's last year. This was really sturdy last year. Although they have upgraded the scarecrow to make him even more sturdy, which I'm very happy about. There is his hand. This is the one that's going to hold the shovel handle. There is part of the handle already in there. Here are the bag with the clothes. This is very big. His clothes are very large and heavy. Toss that on the ground. I'm not sure what else I could take out now. This is lower leg pulls, upper leg pulls with control box, and the 5.9 volt 3 amp adapter. All of that is in this box right here. Set that over here to the side. This is the shoulder form. This is going to be your part with the motor that you're going to insert your shoulder frame onto. It is packaged very nicely to ensure it doesn't get damaged. This, I assume, yep, that is it. Shovel upper and lower pulls and the shovel head, there is that. It's a pretty nice big box. This is packaged really well. I'm actually really impressed with how this is packaged. Then over here, wow, his shoes are heavy. That is awesome. These are really thick plastic shoes, and they also still stack inside of each other? Yes, they do. Both shoes are here and they stack inside of each other. That is awesome. They are solid plastic. They are not that cheap vacuum form plastic that other companies use. Kudos to Lowe's and Tekky for that. Here is, well, this is what I'm most excited for. Here is his head. Let's go ahead and take this out of the bubble wrap together so we can look at this for the first time together. Oh my gosh, it's detailing. Holy crap, this looks even better in person. Try not to drop his head like I did in the last unboxing. See? Holy crap, this looks amazing. His eyes are so cool. Let me move this box out of the way so I can get closer to you guys. But look at his head. This looks amazing. Oh, I'm so excited for this guy. Hard plastic, his eyes look back and forth and they go down to look at you. His mouth moves. It's got a square shaft connector there. I am so excited for this guy. I'm gonna go ahead and put his head down over here. And as far as the rest of the parts go that are inside the box, it is going to be various stabilizing pieces. They're all down here. I'm not sure you can really even see them. But there's his base, there's other leg supports and support poles. So I'm gonna get all these parts laid out, show you everything he comes with, make sure I have everything, make sure you have everything, and then we'll get to his assembly. I just pulled all the framing out of the box, and right before I show everything that he comes with, I wanted to show you how this is tied in the box, because this will be taped up in the box to prevent it from falling over on stuff in the packaging. But there are a lot of twist ties to help keep this nice and secure. And right off the bat, what I'm looking at is a pretty dang sturdy base. The welding on this and the reinforcements on it are done incredibly well. I am really impressed with how this is done. Tekky and Lowe's definitely put a lot of time and effort into this guy to make sure he would not have any issues. So now I'm gonna cut to having all of these twist ties undone and laid out on the floor, all his parts laid out, showing you everything he has. Here are all of his parts laid out of the box. Bear with me, there are quite a bit of pieces, but they are large pieces, so we might get through this pretty quick. You have the 3 parts of the shovel. Ensure that you do have all 3 pieces. You have M, N, O, and P. You have the shovel head that will have a metal connection on the back. Make sure you do get the bubble wrap off of there. You have the shoulder motor that does have the wiring pre-attached and everything. The 2 enormous shoes, his enormous hip ring, his gargantuan head, his fully sealed for outdoor control box that will have the adapter already plugged into it. You have his very heavy duty base, various leg poles. Go ahead and take a look at those. Make sure you have all of the same ones I do. Make sure you have them all labeled. And this pole was already pre-connected in the box for mine. Not sure if they're all gonna be like that. I would assume so. You have the shoulder frame. This piece of cardboard that is at the top of the box, it is not necessary for the assembly, but it does have the baggies with zip ties that are unnecessary for his assembly, that is just for store setup. But the instruction booklet, the tool to help you take them apart at the end of the season, and the tie downs are in there. The box with the ground stakes, his 2 arms left and right, his hand that holds the shovel handle, the bag with all of his clothing, this large support for the body that is marked D and E, the waist portion of the frame that is marked D, and then you have the skeleton in the bag with the hand attached. That is everything he comes with. Let's get to his setup. First, locate your base and set that down where you want to have your assembly, and then go ahead and locate your pole labeled A1, snap that into the base to the part labeled A1, and then locate your pole labeled A and snap lock that into the part labeled A. Next, you are going to grab his shoes, slide those on over the frame, and then we are going to continue from there. Next, locate your leg pole that does have the control box and adapter attached, snap lock that in matching B to B, and then locate your other singular pole labeled B1 and snap lock that in to B1. Now we are going to slide on over his pants. After sliding on over the pants, go ahead and locate your part of the assembly labeled C and C1 and snap lock that onto the frame. Next, go ahead and locate your gargantuan hip loop, and we are going to attach that to the pre-drilled connectors that are on the top. And then we are going to take a good while of time and effort to wrap the Velcro that is on the pants around this entire ring. When putting on the pants, ensure that you have the label labeled front, matching with the front that is on the assembly marked D and the front that is on the base. This is a very crucial step because the sensor is only on one side of the pants And it does need to be on the side that has the control box so you can plug that in so your motion sensor does work to get your bone collector activating. Once you have all your parts labeled front, facing the front, go ahead and locate your part labeled D, snap lock that into the frame, and now we're going to lay him down on top of his box so we can finish the rest of his assembly. After taking him outside and laying him on top of his box, go ahead and locate the shoulder motor assembly and snap lock that on, matching E to E, and then we can get on to assembling his shoulders. Next, go ahead and locate your shoulder form and attach that to the motor mount, matching blue to blue and yellow to yellow. Next, locate the bone collector shirt and slide that over your body assembly. And now we are going to locate his arms, feed them through his sleeves, and snap lock them in at their designated places. After attaching his arms, go ahead and connect both of his hands and afterwards Velcro them up. For the bag with the skeleton, you will have to run the wire up through the sleeve and back down through his body to plug that into the control box so that the eyes of the skeleton get power. Now we're going to attach his head. After plugging in the bone collector's head at the top of the assembly, go ahead and plug in his 2 wires coming from his head down to the control box. And if you haven't already, go ahead and plug in the other wires that do power his motion sensor, the eyes for the skeleton, and the head turning motor. You will have in total 5 plugs that do need to be plugged in. Next, go ahead and attach the several Velcro points that are on the hood. There is a gigantic one that goes to the top of his head. There's one on his shoulder that holds the hood down on both his right and left side. And again, if you haven't already, go ahead and attach the Velcro to the sides of his hands. And then there is a strap of Velcro that wraps around his neck, holding up the collar. So that way, when he is in motion, the collar does not eventually lean its way down. Now we are going to pull out the tethers for this prop and put them on their anchoring points. There are several Velcro holes on this prop's costume so that the wires can come out of him. There is one right here for one of these support wires to come out of, and there is another one here in his shoulder. There is one on the right and left side, so that way you can anchor him down to make him even more stable. There's also going to be one more larger strap on his back, so you can anchor him down from behind too. After getting all of his various tie downs Velcroed in and clamped where they need to be, this would be a great time to go ahead and finish his Velcro that does need to be attached to his pants to ensure that his clothes do not flap around in the wind. This step might be a little bit easier to do on a ladder once you have him standing up. Now let's go ahead and start to assemble the bone collector shovel at the very top, matching M to M, twist to lock into place, and then on the underside matching O to O and P to P. Now we are going to locate our pole labeled K so we can snap lock that into the bottom of the base. After snapping our pole labeled K into the base, you can locate the shovel head and twist lock that onto the handle matching P to P, and then you can snap lock the back of the shovel onto our part labeled K matching R to R. Now we are going to go ahead and stand him up. And here he is all set up and ready to go. And I will say, these tie downs Tekky did for their 12-footers, these are absolutely genius. All 12-footers should have these. We have been gusts up to 20-25 miles an hour. He is not budging. There's not even bricks on his base. I just have these tie downs and he is holding up beautifully. Just imagine him in the yard with stakes in his base. He is absolutely going nowhere. So once you have him all up, I have him on concrete right now. Instead, I have bricks to hold down his tie downs and he's not going anywhere. I'm going to plug him in right now, show you his 2 activations in the daytime, and then I'm going to show you some demos in the nighttime, and then we'll conclude with my overall thoughts on him. Plug in his cord right here. He's probably gonna go off on me.
Masters abode. Your soul shall be vanquished to the deepest, darkest dungeon if you do not leave now.
His sensor is over here in his leg.
to dust. You will roam through the valley of death for all eternity. With all of us. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. You will roam through the valley of death for all eternity. With all of us.
Now let's take a look at a nighttime demo.
Enter the Master's abode. Your soul shall be vanquished to the deepest, darkest dungeon if you do not leave now. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. You will roam through the valley of death for all eternity. With all of us. Who dares enter the Master's abode? Your soul shall be vanquished to the deepest, darkest dungeon if you do not leave now.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the new for 2024 Lowe's Haunted Living 12-foot animated bone collector by Tekky. Holy crap, you guys. If you guys aren't already speeding down the highway to go to Lowe's after watching his demo, what are you doing? This is one of the greatest animatronics to hit retail in a very, very long time. Tekky went above and beyond with this prop. These tether points are absolutely genius. He is not budging at all. He has been out here for several hours already. The gusts are up to 30, 35 miles an hour. Absolutely no issues. There's not even weight on his base. It is simply just the tie downs, meaning he would be even sturdier if I had him in my lawn with stakes in his base. His audio, dialogue, and voice are amazing. He has one of the best laughs I have ever heard for a retail animatronic, or just in general. It is a beautiful, evil, sinister laugh. His dialogue is incredible. One of the best audio tracks we have heard in retail, and not to mention, he has some of the clearest audio I have ever heard. In recent years, Tekky has definitely upgraded their electrical components they are doing for their speakers. They have these extremely loud, booming, clear speakers, and he also has an external speaker port. So if you want to have him even louder, his audio even more clear, which honestly, I don't know if it's even possible to make it even more clear than it already is, get you some outdoor speakers, get this guy booming. His audio is totally worth having heard in your graveyard this Halloween. His clothing is great quality. His head and hands are beautifully sculpted, hand-painted, blow-molded plastic. The motion of his eyes is incredible. They look so real. They look left and right and look down at you and then go back up. His head turns. His shoes are hard plastic. They're not that cheap vacuum form that other retailers use. His shovel is a nice hard plastic. His build is very sturdy. As I said before, his box weighs about 100 pounds, so he is pretty hefty. There is a lot of engineering that went into this. Like, for example, you can probably see the hole in his hood. That is 100% intentional, so that way the wind can guide through his hood and not rip the Velcro off of his head. That is absolutely genius. Tekky and Lowe's went above and beyond for this animatronic. His clothing is incredible. This suit is very, very hefty. It feels like a real, like, expensive Carhartt or Ariat jacket. It is so nice. The only thing I will personally complain about is the skeleton. I do not like the way the skeleton looks. I do think the skeleton looks kind of cheap. And another thing, is there's this giant hole in the back of the skeleton's head where rain can very easily collect inside of his head and weigh him down and potentially break him. I am definitely going to seal that up or altogether get rid of the skeleton and make his bag bigger. And another thing is I do wish he had some sort of foam to form his pants, or his legs rather, because as you can see in the wind, it is wrapping very quickly around his legs. So what I am going to likely do is zip tie 4 pool noodles together in each leg to beef them up a little bit. So that way that is not happening, because I feel like that looks a little weird. It looks like he's got chicken legs. He definitely, the bone collector here definitely skips leg day, seeing that. But besides these 2 very minor things, this animatronic is beyond amazing. Easily one of my all-time favorite animatronics, probably top 5 favorite animatronics of all time, and that is a lot to say. A lot of you guys know that. I have been buying these animatronics for over 15 years. None of them have had me this excited to get ever, or at least in a very, very long time. This, I am just out of words. I am beyond words to express how much I love this animatronic. I cannot recommend him enough. The $400 price tag is 100% worth it. He is absolutely amazing. If you can get him, I highly, highly, highly recommend him. You will not regret it. This will definitely be a staple piece for your Halloween graveyard. I am so thrilled to use this guy this year. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, rate, comment, and subscribe.
Your soul shall be vanquished